Okay, so this video is to help make sure that you understand the ambiguous case. So we're on page 48. We're going to do some practice problems. Number 1 is actually the ambiguous case, so we're going to go back and do number 1 in a second. So let's start with number 2. So if you look at number 2, they give you a triangle, and the angle they give you is obtuse. So if this is the bottom of the triangle, you must draw an obtuse angle. They tell you this angle is 96, and they tell you this angle is called B, which means this side right here, across from B, must be little b. And we know that little b is equal to 3. And then this side right here is 24, and this is little a. And you know that because when you do law of sines and you want to do if it's an ambiguous case, it's always a side-side angle. So side angle situation. So now what you need to do is you're going to flip back to page 45, 46, and 47, and you're going to look at what you have. If you look at situations or cases 1 through 4, all the angles they give you are acute. So now you know that you're down to the options of case 5 or case 6. Please note that these two cases, we don't really call them case 5 and case 6 in like math outside of your pre-cal room. We just numbered them so that you all knew which situation we were talking about. So it's case 5 or case 6. And it says on number 5, if angle A is obtuse and A is less than B. Well, in our case, this is the A in our notes. This is the B on our notes. They're just arbitrary labels. So since the angle I have is obtuse and the side across from my angle, this side right here, B, 3 is less than 24, I'm going to have no triangles. And that's because this side B is never going to be long enough for it to reach down to the bottom and touch. So now if we're on page 48 and we're doing problem number 3, number 3 says that you have an acute angle. So this angle right here is 49. Let's try again, make sure we can draw so it is big enough so we can all see. I'm just scribble that out. Okay, we'll draw a little bit bigger. So this angle right here is 49 degrees, and this angle right here is called B. And this side over here is little b, and it equals 9. And this side right here is A, and it's equal to 7. So when we do this, we have to figure out which situation we have. So we're looking at cases 1 through 4 because angle A is acute. This side right here, B, which in your notes we call A, B is greater than 7. So that means you cannot swing it in like that. You cannot make this little triangle. So that means you're down to one triangle, and you have one of two situations. Either it's going to be a right triangle, or it's going to be the triangle where you only can swing it out like that. Well, for it to be a right triangle, you have to find your height. So we know that this angle right here is 49 degrees, and we know that this is 7. And to find my height right here, your height is going to equal 7 sine of 49 degrees. Make sure you include your degree symbol. And then when you type that, you're going to get that your height equals 5.28. So since my side right here, side B, is bigger than H, that means the only triangle I can make right here is when I swing it out. So that's the triangle I'm going to make. And so now we do all the math. So I draw my one triangle that I can make. This is 49 degrees. This is going to be 7. This is going to be 9. And then we just start doing law signs like we normally would. So sine of 49 degrees over 9 equals sine of, we'll call this angle over here A, because this was side A. So sine of capital letter A over 7. And so you're going to type in your calculator 7 sine 49 degrees all over 9. And you're going to arc sine it so that you can find A. Make sure you know that if you're using one of the school calculators, they're in radians, so you need to multiply your answer by 180 over pi. So when you type all this in the calculator, you should get that A equals, after you arc sine it and get your answer in degrees, 35.944. Now to find this angle C up here, you do 180 minus the 49 minus the angle you just found, which is 35.944. And you should get that angle C up top is equal to 95.096, and then go back on A and C. Make sure you're labeling your answers in degrees. So there's my angle C, there's my angle A, and now all I have to do is find side C. So I know that this is 7, 9, this one right here is 49 degrees. This angle right here is my 35.944, and this angle right here is my 95.056. Okay, so I'm going to do sine of 35.944 degrees over 7 equals sine of 95.056 over C. You're going to cross multiply this. And when you cross multiply, you should get that your little side C equals 11.879. Okay, so now we're going to go back on this page 48 and do number 1, because number 1 is the ambiguous case. So number 1 tells you that you have an acute angle of 22 degrees, which we call angle B. Then you have this side over here, which has to be little b because the angle and the side are across from each other, which is 16.8. And then you have this side right here, which is A, and A is equal to 22.42. So since angle A is acute, or the angle we gave you B is acute, you know you're looking at cases 1 through 4. And then if you look through this, we want to compare this side, B, to side A. Well, A is less than B, so we're looking at cases 1 and maybe 2 or maybe 4. Can't be case 3 because in case 3 the B would be bigger than my A. So what I need to do to figure this out is I need to find the height. So to find the height of this triangle, this little dotted line right here, you're going to do 22. All I'm using is SOHCAHTOA 22.42 sine of 22 degrees. That's going to find you your height. So my height is going to equal 8.397. So since side B is bigger than the height, but smaller than side A, so it's A is less than, no, that's backwards, sorry. H is less than B is less than A, I'm going to have two triangles. So this is the ambiguous case, and it's case 4. So let's draw it one more time. And I find the easiest way to do this problem is to do a T-chart. So, and I'm probably going to have to do this on 2 pages, but that's okay. So you're going to do side 1 and side 2. So I'm going to go to a new page and do side 1 of my T-chart. So this is the first triangle. It's the first triangle you're going to make. So the first triangle you're going to make, it's going to look like this. And you know on this problem, this angle right here is 22 degrees. And here's my 22.42. And this side over here is 16.8. So we're just going to proceed doing the problem like we always would. So we would do sine of 22 degrees over 16.8 is going to equal sine of angle A, which is this angle down here, over 22.42. So again, we're going to cross multiply and make sure that we get an answer in degrees, not in radians. So when you multiply this in the calculator and then arc sine your answer and then multiply by 180 over pi, you're going to get that angle A is equal to 29.995 degrees. So now to find angle C up here, make sure you box your answer. To find big C, you're going to do 180 minus the 22 degrees that you had, minus the 29.995 that you just found, and that's going to give you angle C. So if you just type in your calculator, angle C is going to be 128.9 6.005 degrees. And then you just do law of sines again. Sine of 128.005 over side C equals sine of 22 degrees over 16.8. You're going to cross multiply and solve. And you should end up getting that little c equals 7.987. So there's your first triangle. Now we have to go through and do the second triangle. So let's draw this picture again. Okay, so I'm going to read this really quick. So when we did this, we swung this side out and we made this angle right here in our triangle. This angle became 29.995 degrees. We also can swing this side B inward and make this triangle. And the beauty of that is that this angle and this angle right here have to be supplementary. They need to add up to 180. So now to find my new angle A, you would do 180 minus 29.995, and that's going to be your A new, which means that my A new is going to be 150.005 degrees, and that makes sense because if you rotated it in, this angle A right here should be obtuse. We still have our 22 right here, and if you look at it, this angle up here, which we know is angle C, should be super small. So C new is going to equal the 180 degrees that are in a triangle, minus the 22 that the problem gave you, minus the 150.005 degrees that we just found. So this means that C new should be 7.995 degrees. So that's this little angle way up here. So now that we have a new C, we have to do a law of sines one more time to find what this little side down here at the bottom needs to become. This side right here should be little c. So I'm going to do sine of my 7.995 degrees over little c equals sine of 22 degrees over my 16.8. So we're going to cross multiply and solve for little c, and then we're all done. So when you type all that in the calculator, you should get that side c is now 6.238, which makes sense because it should have been smaller because first time c was the long piece, and now it's just this little piece. And that's how you do the ambiguous case. If you go back to Edmodo, there is an answer kit that's going to be scanned that's going to help you if you want to do page 64. There will be an answer key on Edmodo as well if you need some more practice problems.